so much to everyone who has tuned in to this video. I truly appreciate you. And if you're new here and you enjoy whispered true crime, please consider subscribing to the channel. I post 2 times a week, on Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I recommend using headphones if you would like to hear the gentle mic brushing. Okay, let's get right into tonight's case. This is a case that was recommended to me by one of you guys. Thank you so much. One of you out there, make yourself known in the comments, please. One of you recommended that I watch the brand new Netflix documentary called The Girl in the Picture. And so I took the advice and I watched it, and it was shocking and extremely complicated too, I must say. But I really wanted to bring this case to you guys. And if you would like more information after I'm done, I highly recommend you watch the documentary as well. Alright, so it's hard to decide what to call this. Is it the case of Frank Delano Floyd? Should I call it the making of a monster? Should I call it by one of the victims' names? I just don't know. So let's not worry about what to call it. Although I'll have to worry about that when I make the, title and everything. Okay, let's dive into this. So I'm gonna start with Frank Delano Floyd. He was born in 1943 in Georgia. He was one of 5 children. His father, who was an alcoholic, died due to kidney and liver problems when he was about 1. And his mother had a lot of trouble trying to raise these 5 kids on her own. So ultimately, they had to go to the Georgia Baptist Children's Home, something like an orphanage type of thing. And while he was there, he was bullied a lot by the other kids. Some of the older or bigger kids subjected him to sexual abuse. And in addition, the staff mistreated him as well. One example was them dipping his hand in burning water when they caught him doing something on his alone time, if you know what I'm saying. And it was just a really, really harsh and damaging place for him to grow up. And as his brothers and sisters reached 18, they moved out, and he was still there. So when he was around 16, he ran away. And he went to a house and broke in to steal food. When he was caught, falsify some documents so that he could join the army. Now, he wasn't old enough to join the army, that was the whole problem. But it worked out. They accepted him, but unfortunately, it didn't take long for them to realize that his documents were fake, and they threw him out. Now he went back to find his mother, but he was unable to find her. And as it turns out, she had died, so possibly that was why he didn't find her. But he just became a drifter, moving around from place to place, and beginning his life of crime. Now, he has done a lot of crimes, so I am going to take a look at my notes so that I get them all straight. In 1960, he broke into a Sears department store and stole a gun. And he was arrested and sent to a youth institution for a year. And then he got out. And in 1961, he was arrested for violating his parole because he went on a fishing trip to Canada, and I suppose he wasn't supposed to leave the country. Now, moving right along to the next year, 1962, he went back to Georgia and he got a job. Okay, but now this is where things get really bad. That year, he abducted a 4-year-old from a bowling alley, and he sexually abused her in the woods, and he was convicted of kidnapping and child molestation. And he was sentenced to 10 to 20 years in the Georgia State Prison. But 1963, he escaped. They took him out for a medical visit, and he escaped. And he went to Macon, Georgia, am I saying that right? Where he robbed a bank. Yeah, he robbed a bank. That's kind of high profile, isn't it? $6,000 he robbed. And of course he was caught. Does that make sense? If you escape from prison, go hide somewhere, right? Don't go rob a bank. Alright, so they got him, and they sent him to the Federal Reformatory in Ohio. He tried to escape again, so they sent him to the U.S. Penitentiary in Pennsylvania. Now, at this prison, it was kind of reminiscent of his days in the orphanage because the inmates were constantly, according to him, I guess, raping him. And it was so bad that at one point he climbed up on the roof and threatened to take his own life. So, next thing they did, they just kept moving him. They sent him to the Federal Penitentiary in Illinois, and then back to the Georgia State Prison in 1968. And now, believe it or not, after all these things that he did, think about all these things he did that I just mentioned, some serious stuff, okay? They let him out. He was released in 1972. And they sent him to a halfway house. And the next year, 1973, he finished his time at the halfway house. So what would you think he would do then? Maybe he should go live a good life. Live an honest life. Why would we think that? was considered a fugitive from Georgia, okay? Okay. So, that is his, let's say, early legal history. Quite a scary guy. And we see how he got to be that way to some extent. He had a rough upbringing, and he was just doing one terrible thing after the next. Totally a guy who's living from institution to institution. Doesn't really know much else. But now he's on the run. Okay, so around 1975, he was in North Carolina, and he met a woman. Her name was Sandra. She had 4 children with 2 different fathers, and she was taking care of them on her own, and things were pretty rough. And she had tried to go get help from social services, and they said to her, listen, just go to church and pray. Everything will be okay. So she went to church, and this is where she met Frank. I don't know what he was doing in church, but she met him, and he said, hey, honey, I'm gonna help you out. I'm gonna take care of you. Come move with me to Dallas. And so she did. And after dating for a couple of weeks, they got married. But she wrote a bad check and wound up in jail for 30 days. During this time, she left her kids with Frank. And when she got out of jail, the kids were gone, and so was he. So, she ultimately found 2 of them at a local church/social services place. But she was still missing 2 of them, Suzanne and Philip. Now she went to try to report them as having been kidnapped, but she says that she was told that since Frank was the stepfather, he was legally in the right to have taken them, and it wasn't a crime. Now, I don't think that's true. I don't know. It doesn't sound right. But that is how she tells the story. So she just dealt with it and moved on with her life, missing these 2 kids. Now, in the movie, in the documentary on Netflix, they said she was only missing 1 kid, okay? They said she only had 3. But other documents said there were 4 kids, and that she was missing Suzanne and Philip. In the documentary, it was just Suzanne, but I don't know. Just letting you know all the possibilities. Alright, so now, everything I just told you, just put it over there, okay? Put it up there on the shelf for now. We're not gonna need it for a little while, because we're moving. We were in like 1975. Okay, now we are going to 1990 in Oklahoma. One night, some people saw a woman on the side of the road, on the side of the highway, in very, very bad shape. Seemed that she had been the victim of a hit and run. So, she goes straight to the hospital, and she's barely living. Her name was Tanya Hughes, and she was about 20 years old. popular one. It was a good one, let's just say. And everyone over there noticed that Tanya and her husband were a strange couple, and that he was a very, very strange and creepy guy. He was even pushing his wife to take money for sex, which wasn't something that they wanted the girls to be doing there at the nightclub. And they were involving this other stripper there named Cheryl Comesso. And there was a babysitter who was 15 at the time. And she said, she used to babysit for Michael a lot while the parents were out. And she would see Cheryl come around sometimes to visit. And one day when she was at Tanya and Clarence's trailer, they lived in a trailer park, Clarence was about to put on a videotape for them to watch, or no, he was going to videotape a wrestling match, that's what it was. So he's popping in a tape when on came a homemade video of both Cheryl and Tanya at the beach and not wearing clothes. And he pulled that tape out right away. He's like, forget what you saw. And she was like, that is very, very odd. Meanwhile, everyone at the nightclub was saying to Cheryl, stay away from this guy, don't keep going there. And I have no idea why she kept going there. One night, they saw Cheryl leave the club. She walked up to the car that Clarence was driving. They had an argument. And after that night, no one ever saw her again. And right after that, Tanya and Clarence got right out of town, like the next day. He lit his trailer on fire, and they moved to Oklahoma, okay, which is where they were when she died, in Oklahoma. Now in Oklahoma, she got another job at another strip club. Same kind of situation. Now I should add that Cheryl was not found. There was an unidentified Jane Doe found, and nobody knew who it was, but okay. So meanwhile, back to the hospital in 1990. I hope you're still with me. Michael, the little boy, 2 years old, he goes to foster parents, and they loved him. It was a very beautiful foster care situation. They had other children as well, and everyone loved him, and he worked out perfectly in the family. He was an adorable little boy, so cute. And he had to have visitation with his father regularly, which he did not want to do. He would hide under the piano, and he would say he didn't want to see the mean man. But he had to. At one point, Clarence started trying to get custody back. He's like, what is this going on here? Why don't I have custody of my son? Why is he in foster care? And they had him So they take a little deeper look at him, and it turns out this guy, he's not who he said he was. His name is Frank Delano Floyd. Okay, so you could take this from off the shelf and put it back here, okay? This is Frank. With a fake name. He's been going around with lots of fake names. So, they find out not only has he just committed these crimes, he is a fugitive, okay, from 1973. So he's in a lot of trouble. But he's about to be in more trouble because they search his car and they find underneath he had taped an envelope with a bunch of photos. These were obscene photos. Some of Tanya, dating all the way back into her childhood. And some of Cheryl. You remember Cheryl, the woman who went missing? Obscene photos, and a lot of them showed her being in bad shape, terribly beaten, like on the verge of death. And so they said, who is this woman? Where is this woman? And he doesn't know. But they reached out to, the police system, and they were able to match her with the Jane Doe in Florida and put it all together and got him for murdering Cheryl Comesso. She had been shot to death. So now he's on trial for a bunch of things, okay? One of which is murder. It just so happens that when Michael was kidnapped, it was on the news. And the news story showed this little boy, Michael. It showed Clarence or Frank as the kidnapper. And it showed Tanya as the boy's mother, who had died years before. Now, over in Georgia, there was a woman watching TV, and she said, "Hey, I know that woman, Tanya. That's not Tanya, and I know that man. His name is Warren, and her name is Sharon. Their last name is Marshall, and he's her father, not her husband." Now, this girl was a very good friend of Sharon Marshall. They went to school together, high school, and she talked about Sharon being super nice, super smart, like she was in the, smart group, and she was in all the extracurricular activities. They were such good friends. And her big dream, Sharon's big dream, was to go to Georgia Tech. She was accepted on a full scholarship and was super excited. But they also said that Sharon was always very afraid of her father, and there was a very strange relationship there. The woman said one day she went over for a sleepover, and she saw that Sharon had a drawer full of fancy lingerie, like expensive fancy lingerie, and they were just high school kids. So she says, "Where'd you get all these?" And she said, "My dad bought them for me." And the other girl thought that was very strange. Next thing she knows, the father comes in with a shotgun. And just the way my dad is, and I'm fine, okay? So she never said anything because she was scared. One day, she got a call from Sharon, and Sharon said, "I'm pregnant." She's like, "I have to move away with my dad and have the baby, and I can't go to college. He won't let me go to college." And the friend was shocked, like, "What, are you kidding? You can't do that. You've always wanted to go to this college. You can't give it up." And she says, "I have no choice." And Sharon was never heard from again. They had moved to Florida. She had the baby. She put it up for adoption. Then the two of them had changed their names. They got married. And so they were now Tanya and Clarence Hughes. And that is when she began working in Tampa at the exotic dancing nightclub. Okay, now, where are we with the story? So, now back over to Frank, who is in prison. It took a while for the case to get to trial because he was dealing with a lot of mental health issues. So, in 2001, he was convicted of murder and sentenced to death by lethal injection. And just so you know, he is still alive. He is 79 right now. So that was pretty much where it was standing, and there were still some mysteries, of course, like who really was Tanya? What's the deal with Tanya? And where is Michael? So, an FBI agent went to interview Frank in prison. And he had been asked before many times these questions, but he wasn't saying. But for some reason, and he loved to talk, by the way, he loved to talk about himself and tell all his stories, but there were certain things that he didn't want to talk about. But for whatever reason, on this particular day, he told the FBI agent that he murdered Michael. He shot him on the same day when he took him. And he told him where the body should be, on the side of what particular road. And they went to look, but they didn't find him. It's possible, they said, that his body was taken by animals, possibly. And the other thing was, who is Tanya? Tell us, who is Tanya already? And he told them, he said that she was the child of Sandra Brandenburg. That was the woman from North Carolina. The one who had 4 kids. And one of them he took with him. That was Suzanne Savakis, born in 1969. Now supposedly the other child's name was Philip, and he was found also at some point. But he's not part of this story. But, okay, so now we know her name is Suzanne, and they can put all the pieces together. And not that it makes a happy puzzle at all. This poor girl. Young girl taken by this horrible man and spent her whole life with him. Absolutely horrifying. anyway, they went back and they told the mother of Suzanne, here's the story. This is what ultimately happened. And they found the father as well. The father had been in Vietnam fighting at the time of Suzanne's birth, I believe, and when he came back, he wanted to take custody of her, but social services had said to him if he wants custody of her, he has to take custody of all the kids. Another strange story. Sometimes you hear these things and you wonder. You picture just these, like, annoyed social service people just making up stories so they don't have to do their job. Forgive me if that offends you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm just saying that there's a lot of strange things that people will tell you that happened and that doesn't make sense. Like, if she were his child, he doesn't have to take custody of these other kids that are not his in order to get custody of her. Okay. But anyway, so when he found out, the parents found out, of course, you know how upsetting that is. But at some point, they also found the baby that was given away for adoption in like 1989, did I say, or 88? You know, when she became pregnant while she was in high school and then they had to leave. That baby, they found her. So, she was the daughter biologically of Suzanne / Tanya / Sharon. Now, the parents of Suzanne, well, the mother, Sandra, she didn't want anything to do with the grandchild, apparently. Like, she wasn't interested in getting involved, basically. But the father, he accepted this woman as his grandchild, and he was pretty happy to have her in his life. So there's one little tiny good bit that came out of it. But that is the whole story. And I hope you were able to follow it to some extent. I know it is super, super confusing. And what can I say about this? Well, first of all, you guys tell me what you think. Tell me if you were able to follow the case in the way that I presented it. I'm sure it was confusing. But it's just by nature a confusing story. Now, I only have one thing to say, really, because it's just so awful. But what I do want to say is, yes, this is a horrible, horrible, horrible man. And he did so many awful things. And there's no reason to sit here and discuss it at this point. But what I do want to say is, how dare the justice system keep letting him out? What were they thinking? You found it